Welcome to Musicians versus the World, the podcast where we explore aspects of music and musician life that may not have been covered in music school. I am your host, Christine Smith, and today we are having a fascinating conversation about the career path of a composer and the different roles and positions they take as they journey to becoming a lead composer on projects. We'll also dive into the importance of organization, workflow, and how to develop themes to fit different genres of music. Our guest today is Juan Carlos Enriquez. He is a Los Angeles-based multi-instrumentalist composer originally from Guadalajara, Mexico. He is a 4-time CLIO Award winner, a Hollywood Music and Media Awards winner, has a Ciclope Latino Award, and a PRODU Award nomination. His latest work includes the score for Disney Plus's romantic comedy Mesa Para and Velvet, a drama series on Telemundo. So, Juan Carlos Enriquez, thank you so much for being here, and welcome to Musicians versus the World.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be speaking with you today.
I'm excited to speak with you too. Before we jump into some of these exciting projects that you're working on, I would love to hear a little bit about you and about your background. Have you always been a musician? Did you always know that this is what you wanted your life to be?
Well, I started playing bass as a kid and having private lessons of piano here and there. However, I did not consider the musician's career seriously until I was late into high school, 11th, 12th grades. Once I realized I could actually do this and study in college for this and have a career in the film music industry.
Was there a moment that you remember that you're like, oh, I think this is what I want to do?
A little bit. It's a bit of a combination of a few factors, but one big turning point for me was when I attended a film music concert in Guadalajara, where the State Philharmonic played the Pops night of film music night of Pirates of the Caribbean, Jurassic Park, Star Wars, and all of these classics. And I was just blown away by the music. It just really resonated with me, and it always blew my mind how if someone was asked to do hey, can you write music for dinosaurs? Jurassic Park came out. I was just that was an amazing thing. It just blew my mind, and I just started realizing and researching more about that industry.
Yeah.
This
Now,
was
had
in
you
high,
tried? Sorry?
this was in high school.
It was in high school. Had you
Mhm.
tried writing music before that? You said you were a bassist. Did you play in bands and things?
Yeah, playing bands. I mean, I composed with bands like punk rock songs and rock songs, pop songs, and then I was learning piano, but I preferred to just basically improvise and try to mini compose, kind of compose here and there. But I felt I was going. It was not something I took super seriously. I was just playing,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. So you didn't take it super seriously, but you went to Berkeley, didn't you? Berkeley College of Music?
I did. I was accepted at Berklee College of Music, and I went for 4 years for my undergraduate.
Yeah.
I entered as a bass player. I was I was I was really into progressive rock metal at the time, so
Yeah.
the dexterity of playing those songs helped me enter. I still have. I played a 6-string bass, and I really like all this fancy bass playing. So yes, I was just not yeah, I was just approaching it on the rock pop side instead of I guess a classical conservatory approach.
Yeah. Yeah. But so you went in there from the rock and pop side, but you write this beautiful music now that has orchestral as well as, more of the pop rock side of it. So, how did you make that switch? That's they're very different.
Yes, well, at the time I also loved film scores,
Yes.
so and of course classical music. So I was on my own time learning and researching more about it and how to, you know, just how to write or trying to comprehend that world. Um, and also, of course, at Berkeley, I was learning all the music theory and
Mm.
having more actual classes of orchestration and all of these more serious classes, contrapoint, etc., classical music theory. And then I also changed after 2 years at Berkeley, or a year and a half. I changed from bass to piano, my main instrument, just because I wanted to improve on piano. I thought it was
Okay.
oh, it's a good way to force myself to learn, which was a bit of a mistake because I suffered a lot. because I was like, I did not have a classical background really, so I was just like suffering with all the technical like scales and arpeggios and classical pieces and but at the time the Berkeley curriculum, and I probably it's the same, the bass program was pushing me into the direction of being a solo jazz bass player, and
Mm,
that's not what I wanted to be.
mhm.
So I thought like, oh no, this is gonna be a waste of time to go at such a high level on the bass because I want to be a composer. So I switched to piano to improve my composition skills, and I
Okay.
survived in the end. I'm here. I graduated, but it was a bit of a challenge.
Yeah. Well, I was a piano major in college, and it's blowing my mind that you're like, oh, I'll just switch.
Yeah,
And you came out alive, which is amazing.
yeah. I had to audition internally again, but it was probably less rigorous than they probably gave me a chance. So, but yeah,
They
it was
understood
good.
the talent that you had for sure.
Maybe there's a potential. Like, okay, I did tell them like I don't want to be like a performer. I just want to improve on my piano. So
Gotcha.
maybe they understood because of that.
Yeah, yeah. So that's that's a fantastic story. So you finished from Berkeley. How do you go from there to now in your amazing studio in LA, writing music and doing all these amazing projects?
Well, I graduated from Berkeley in 2013, and like 2 weeks after, like in late May or early June, I just went straight to LA. Moved to LA with my college roommate, who's also from Mexico, from the same high school I went to in Mexico, actually. And him and I, we just went to LA, went for it, and started looking for opportunities. And then I found like an internship with a composer in town. Uh, and then I became his assistant for a few months. Then it just started like a domino effect from there.
Mm. I love that. I love that you were just like, you knew this is what I want to do. And you didn't have a problem changing courses, even in your schooling. And then you're like, okay, I need to be in LA. And you didn't have a problem just going for it. Um, that's pretty awesome. Was there ever a time where you were thinking, okay, maybe this is not in the cards for me?
Um, Not really like that. I mean, there's many things I've said like this is not in the cards for me, like being a concert pianist, for example, or like and there's many things. But being a composer for film has always been like my goal since high school.
Hmm.
So I've been like super laser focused on that path,
Hmm.
and I was just like, okay, what do I need to do to make this happen, or at least make it easier
Hmm.
for this to happen? So moving to LA, finding a composer to work under as an assistant. So I was
Yeah.
like looking for the paths of what I need to do.
Hmm. Yeah. So you just always had that goal and everything just pointed to where you wanted to be.
I was just pushing forward in that direction and see what happens.
Yeah.
And I was, and that, yeah, I still to today, that's what I'm doing. I'm pushing in that direction, taking opportunities.
Hmm.
There was this college professor who told me something, so told us, the class, something about like you cannot choose your career path in a way, like so precisely, in the film industry at least. um, because sometimes you can there's like this video game project that comes and then maybe you branch out into video games and you had no idea that you were going to be a video game composer, and or you get a TV show and then you branch out into that and you focus on that, and so you're pushing forward, but then branches can come out and your path is not a straight line and can
Hmm.
have turns, twists and turns.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to, between all the twists and turns, go into a general direction.
Yes. Yes, that makes sense. And one of those twists and turns, you were a music arranger or a programmer in projects like Narcos, Furious 7, The Girl on the Spider's Web. Like these were big, big projects. What was your job what does a music arranger do compared to what a composer does?
Yeah, so going back to being an intern and then an assistant, the natural evolution of someone in the career path of being a film composer in Los Angeles at least is going through these other job titles or job descriptions when you're working on projects helping a lead composer. So for example, uh, after being an assistant, maybe the next job will be music programmer, which a music programmer, um, generally speaking, is when you program things on the computer on the DAW, and in this sense, is like adding additional parts like drums, making a better sounding demo with the sample libraries, like
Mm-hmm.
programming the sample libraries, um, uh, everything that has to do with like dealing with the software and adding more to the pieces in a way. That's or programming synth sounds in the plugins or in hardware synths or in Contact, which is another software we use a lot, making Contact instruments and um, it's a very technological and technical side of things that has this creative side also, which is doing all of this for musical purposes, for the to help the composer work faster, make better music, enhance the productions, etc. Then you move on to you graduate to being an arranger. And an arranger, generally speaking, is when you take existing material from the composer and arrange it for new scenes. And this has a wide, it's like a wide spectrum of what constitutes arranging. So it can be from taking a session that already exists and adapting it into a new scene, but you
Mm-hmm.
need to extend the ending. You need to fill the gaps in the middle. So you compose or arrange the bridges to make it work. And that so, but because it's existing material, that's considered arranging. And then it can also mean the composer has this main melodic material that he plays for you in the piano, and then you create a piece based on that, and it's you're arranging that piano piece into whatever the scene is. It can be an orchestral piece, it can be an atmospheric piece, but it's all based from the composer's ideas and
Gotcha.
direction.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's the additional composer credit, which generally speaking is when you're like creating new melodies, new themes for characters that maybe the lead composer is not working on, or you're working on big scenes that the composer is not working on, and you have total control in a way to, well, not total control, you're still under the guidance of the lead composer, but you have more creative freedom or more yeah more authority in a way to make musical choices, and you have to deliver the full piece that goes into
Mm-hmm.
the movie approved by the composer. Then go you can graduate into being a co-composer, and then you craft the world together with the composer. Now there's between all these, it's like a spectrum, and it's blurred lines in between, like what is what. It's not as clear sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a conversation that you have with your composer boss, your
Mm-hmm.
who you're working for, or what he's expecting of you. What or also a reality of the industry is what credit he can give you because of their politics in the studio and etc.
Gotcha.
Sometimes you might be a co-composer, but you're getting a music programmer credit because of the politics of the studio and of like they don't want a co-composer credited, or they don't want an additional music, they want an arranger because there's legal implications with royalties and
Mm.
copyright and contracts, and so you can get into very complex situations sometimes.
Wow. Sounds like it. So that sounds like just an amazing way to, to further your career. Is there something that you have learned from doing these other more, I guess not lead composer roles, but those other roles? What's one of the things that you've learned that you have valued the most as you have progressed in your career?
Well, I have definitely learned a lot from working on these roles for many composers and many movies now. In the past, more like in the past like 12 years now, I recently realized I worked for more than 16 composers in different roles
Wow.
of this. Not like every day going to the studio of this composer. Like it was more like freelance jobs.
Mm.
So like I come in for a few weeks on a project, I help out, I leave. A bit of a musical mercenary in a way. I go in and go out, and I get paid and then move on. So I got a bit of a reputation of between a group of composers that I could be reliable for those kind of jobs of just coming in, getting what needs to be done, doing it, moving on, etc.
Yeah. Yeah.
When things get super crazy. So, but I have learned a lot of, especially starting out and being an assistant and programmer and arranger. Organization in a project, in a big projects, like key is like something that has stuck with me, and I have through the years adapted different organization approaches,
Mm.
how to manage a project, how to have an overview of what's needed, what's priorities, what's like you need to have at any point in time. You need to know what is happening with every single scene and in
Mm.
what status of pipeline each scene, each piece of music is in. If not, you can just get lost really easily, because you're talking about like 40, 50, 60 pieces of music,
Yeah.
and some of them are getting notes, some of them are getting mixed, some of them needs to get recordings, some of them are recording with an orchestra, some of them not, etc. So there's a lot of considerations at any given point. So just being organized is the key thing that has helped me. Now, in terms of music, it has helped me to just approach me arranging and composing in a way that I can see a piece of music in many different ways, because I have needed to do that with in projects. Like I needed to squeeze the content out of a piano sketch that they send me over the phone and make something beautiful out of it for a scene. So
Wait, so
it just
they'll send you something over the phone and you just take it and turn it into a whole cue?
yes, if needed, sometimes happen, or
Wow.
just because again, we're working so fast. Like,
Right.
oh, I just need something like this, and they play it like this, and maybe you go this on the basis, and then that's it, and then like okay, and then you take that into an actual orchestral piece or whatever needs to be done
Mhm.
with that
Yeah.
information. So
Yeah.
it has taught I guess my musical mind to just to work in that way, to be able to extract what I need from small amounts of
Mhm.
musical information,
Yeah.
and turn it into
Yeah.
developed pieces.
Yeah, that's amazing. We haven't talked much on this program about organization. So you mentioned there could be like 40, 50, 60 pieces of music that are in different stages throughout this whole time. How do you stay, and especially now that you're the lead composer on these projects, how do you stay organized? Do you have like a secret, like a notebook or a
Uh,
spreadsheet?
um, I mean, I use Google Sheets,
Mm-hmm.
which many composers in the industry do now, because you can collaborate with your team and people are seeing in real time the changes. Now there's a few other professional software that you can buy, like QDB. It's one that many composers use, which it looks great. At the moment, I've always used Q Sheets with the composers since I started, so I have a template that I work with, and it does what I need to do. Um, like it's already fine tuned so that you input times, like, and then of when the piece starts, when it ends, with the what's called as empty time code, which is like the little numbers that you see in the movie of like what's happening, where we are
Mm-hmm.
at, and then it spits out the duration of the piece, and then also like there's like cells where you can see the status and who's working on what, and notes from the director and version numbers. So it has all the information I need basically. That's how many composers work, not just me, with Google Sheets. And it's just an Excel spreadsheet,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see everything at once there.
Mm. Okay.
And so that's the core of how we organize a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you can get more complex, but usually that's 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 what works
Right.
best.
Right. And I would think, and that's so smart to be able to all be able to see the same spreadsheet and all be able to see it. When you have a team of people working so fast on things, it would be just a disaster if you all didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, exactly. And there, everyone has an overview. You can assign things to people, and so yeah, there's other ways. A lot of other composers use software like um, it's not Monday, but there's this like little chat. I forget. I don't use it, but it's like more for use for companies.
Mm-hmm.
uh, slash clash, something like that. I
Oh,
forget.
okay.
Anyways, it's just like a messenger that you
Mm-hmm.
can also tag people and assign things and upload documents.
Yeah.
Um, but for the at the moment, it has worked on my side with Google Sheets and just like also text messages, WhatsApp,
Yeah.
having voice messages also.
Mm-hmm.
So
So there's
so
just a
yeah.
lot going on all at once. So it pays to be very organized when you're doing this.
Yes, because if not, you're gonna suffer as the boss, because you're responsible to deliver everything, and like
Right.
you cannot have like missing cues, like oh we forgot about the kiss scene, in the end, whatever. Uh, like that cannot fall through the cracks. Basically,
Yeah.
it's nothing can fall through the cracks.
Right.
Um, so yes.
Yes, that's so smart. So then to the creative side, let's talk about some of these projects that you're working on. You've got the Disney one, Mesa de Regalos this was a huge project. It was working with Disney. You were the lead composer on this one. What were some of the things that not necessarily organization, but musically, what were some of the things that you had to be aware of and things that you had to work with for this film?
So yeah, Mesa Regalos. So it's this Disney Plus and Disney movie came out in Latin America and Mexico, and that was a huge challenge because of of all the musical styles that we needed to do for the movie. Just because the director really loves music, so he uses music as a big tool to tell the story.
Mm-hmm.
So we recorded an orchestra. We had like all the romantic comedy moments with orchestra and piano. We had cumbia, surf rock, blues, Indian music, Broadway style, kind of like comedy cues, funk, jazz, piano jazz, and what else we had?
Are you
Yeah, it was
comfortable
like some.
composing like in all of those? Are you comfortable, or were there some like crash course? Oh, let me study up on this real fast before I start composing.
No, I sometimes I do need to study or like listen to other like the references and like okay,
Mhm.
what's this? Like how to sound like this? And which is also a thing I have learned a lot from working with other composers because sometimes you have to do styles that you're not familiar with,
Right.
and a lot of jobs ask you to do sound alikes is a word where they
Mm.
need you to do something that sounds like something else. So that has helped me a lot to fine tune my production ear and what I try to do is try to reduce try to how to say it's like adjust the resolution of how I'm hearing things until I hear like the building blocks of the music,
Mm.
and then go a bit wide and say, okay, what's the most basic thing about like a cumbia
Mhm.
and the instrumentation, and then okay, but it's the same instrumentation as salsa. What's the difference? And then you go a bit wide, like oh, it's the rhythms and the bass, and then go wide. Oh, also the piano, and then oh, but it's doing this and not this, and then so you start
Okay.
to filter in a way to get the essence of what makes that sound like that. And then I just do that. And it sounds like a cumbia at the end of the day. Or sounds like a jazz piano bar piece, like, oh, this kind of voicings. And then the drums are doing this with the snare, with the brush snare. And then,
Mhm.
I try to separate by elements.
Mm.
And so far, so good.
Good. Good. Well, yeah, it's very organized. So I love that you just like break it down into its like base elements first and then branch out. Is that how you're able to take all of these different styles? You said there was Indian style cumbia, there was surfer jazz. Is that how you're able to take all these different styles, but then make them into a cohesive score?
Yes, I like to do. I especially love when I'm doing this on a project. I love to arrange the main melody into all of these styles. So it's like it's there hidden as an Easter egg, either really clear or an element or an Easter egg. But I love to do that so it connects, and it's not just like licensed music. Licensed music. It does connect
Right.
with the movie.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yes,
Yes. Oh, that's so fun. So, when you were talking with the director for this, did you have a lot of freedom with that, or was he very? You said he loves music. Was he very like? Did he want a lot of sound alikes, or was he like, "Here you go, Juan Carlos, work your magic"?
a bit of both, but there was very clear directions on certain styles for sure.
Okay.
So like we need a cumbia here, we need a funk kind of like here because it was like a comedy ode or like a parody of like the Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12 heist movies.
Oh, uh-huh.
So we needed that kind of like retro funk
Right.
vibe, and then uh, we tried doing something else on this comedy scene, comedy montage. I suggested doing something like Billy Idol, but then the producers were like, "No, we like how the temp is working." So the temp is the music that's there as a reference, and the temp was a surf rock piece. So I had
Mm,
to, when I tried to change the direction of the style completely, they were like, "No, let's do surf rock.
gotcha.
Let's say in what the reference is doing." So sometimes you can do it, sometimes you cannot.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's pretty amazing. Um, Wow, that just seems like a big project in order. I mean, you don't think about that when you are listening to a romantic comedy. You don't think about all of the background that goes into the music behind it. And so you were saying you put themes, but then you arranged them into these different styles. How many
Hmm.
themes did you have going for this?
Well, that's also one thing that I will try to not have many themes. I try
Hmm.
to have the like one or two main themes.
Gotcha.
So I maybe had like three total in the movie, but the main theme was the love theme and the romance theme,
Hmm.
which depends on how you dress it, how you present it. It can be romantic, it can be sad, it can be nostalgic, it can be
Hmm.
fun. So
Hmm.
I like to twist and turn the themes into different moods and emotions. That's something I really like to do. It's fun for me. I
Hmm.
had to make it be something else, uh, because it's easy to just do the sad melody, the exciting melody. But I think it's more musically interesting when you twist, like present the same melody in different contexts. And
Hmm.
it's just
Well,
something you don't have to do it, but that's
yeah.
something I like to do.
So let's do a little example of that. So if you had a melody and let's say you need it to be sentimental, but then you in the next scene you need it to be kind of comedic. What are some little things that you do to change it?
Well, I change. I mean, I'm flexible with the melody, of course.
Hmm.
So I change either minor or major. I change rhythms if I need to. If I can be just straight thing, that's the same thing. I
Hmm.
try to keep it, but I adjust if needed. It's fluid, so it works for the style. So it sounds musical. So it's not just like
Yeah.
here's the main melody in your face. So it feels part of the music.
Hmm.
So, so for example, I changed the if it's not swinging for maybe for the jazz is swinging, or
Hmm.
or I extend a certain note so it feels more musical with the progression. So if it's like da 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 da, maybe and that's for example very simple, and that's
Hmm.
the one theme.
Hmm.
I can do da 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 da.
Hmm.
So I play around, elongated,
Hmm.
like it's like Play-Doh,
Hmm.
but it's there. The essence is there, and I try for it to be recognizable.
Yes, and then that like just brings everything all together. That's
Hmm.
really, yeah, that's so smart, so fun. For your other big project you've worked on recently for Velvet, that's just pure drama. Did you do that same sort of idea with the themes for that?
Yes. So on that one, there was more teams involved because the production wanted to have distinct themes for characters and situations.
Mm.
So Velvet is it's big drama series um that's produced in Telemundo based on a Spanish series called also Velvet, which was very successful some years ago in Spain. And this is the remake, and it's about drama in the fashion industry in New York,
Mm.
and of this like fictitious brand like Prada or Gucci that's
Hmm.
going through some financial trouble, and there's like love triangle and all of that. So I had to do the love theme, the business trouble theme, tension, and each character actually has the mom theme, the dad theme,
Oh, wow.
the fun theme, comedy theme. Um, yeah, there's also a dress that's really important in the story, so that the dress has its own theme.
The dress has its own theme. Okay.
So so
That's a lot of
yeah,
themes. Like, how much
yeah, that
back and
one.
forth was there to develop these themes between you and the showrunners?
Um, Not so much actually, because this showrunner I have worked with before on another show, and she trusted me, and she hasn't really given me a lot of notes in terms of the themes.
Hmm.
So she just like, oh yeah, that works, that's beautiful, and so has been smooth in terms of that.
Yeah.
Um, there's other aspects of the show where we have been going more back and forth, but it's more about the intensity of the emotions and how big to
Right.
take it.
Right. Right.
So
So with when there's more themes, do you find that you are I guess arranging those themes a little bit less because there's more themes to deal with?
yes, so I have less chances of playing with the themes. However,
Hmm.
there's like at least I have to do always the main theme and then the drama version of the theme, the sad emotional theme, the sad
Hmm.
version or the tension version. So
Gotcha.
at least 2 3 versions of the theme I do have to do.
Yeah. So, what is your favorite part of the process? You've been involved in every part of the process of music making for media. So, what is your favorite part of it?
For me personally, well, there's probably two things. One is actually composing the music, like working on the music, because that's to me one of the most fun parts.
Yeah.
But also then recording with musicians. That's
Mm.
the sometimes the funnest part of the process,
Hmm.
especially when you're recording with orchestras or really good musicians that bring to the table things that you did not thought of. Like,
Hmm.
oh, here's a chart, or here's the main idea, and then they add more to it, and it's like, and they improve it and make you look like a genius. So that, so yeah, I love working with musicians and orchestras, just because, um, yeah, just that experience of working with musicians, it's something I really enjoy, um, and making coming up with ideas and working
Hmm.
on the music. Like I guess like it's to me it's really satisfying to work on something musical and then seeing it work against picture. Like my brain lights up, like, oh, it works. It's like working. What I wanted to do is working. So there's a lot of satisfaction in that. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
So the process. I'm not so much about like, oh, I do it for the fame and fortune and the premieres. No, it's not like that. It's more about the process of working on the movie
Yeah.
and seeing the director loving it, and that whole aspect of things.
Yeah. You love the creative part of it.
Hmm.
Well, that's great. So, you've always had this laser focus of being a composer, and you're there now. What would be like your dream project going forward?
Mm. Well, I love action films, action and thriller films. So working on a big action thriller film, that'll be like a dream for me. Like, just because musically you can have a lot of fun with that,
Hmm.
with big orchestras and action sequences, and there's still a prog rock bass player inside of me, so I think I can flex those muscles in those kind of projects
Do you
a bit more.
ever record the bass for your own projects?
Yes, as much as I can. I do have a collection here of instruments to
Yeah.
the side, and yes, I have too many basses. Too,
Okay. How many do you have?
let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 7
Oh
or
my
8.
God.
Just because I have an upright bass, a six-string bass, P bass with flat ones, jazz bass. I have a Mustang bass. I have an acoustic bass. It's just, yeah,
Well, they all have their different jobs, right? For different
yeah,
types of
exactly.
music.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's not like I have 16 basses of the same kind of different colors. It's not about the colors. To me, it's about the sound
Yeah.
and the purpose.
Yeah.
Same with
If it was
guitars. I do have like one of each in a way.
That's so great. Juan Carlos, this has been so much fun talking with you. As we finish up, what advice do you have for aspiring musicians or people who want to be doing what you do?
Well, I think some advice could be to, when you're starting out, to learn as much as you can, study as much as you can, because later on it's harder for you to learn as fast or as in depth, because you begin working,
Mm.
and then you don't have time to take your time to study like the music in a more in depth way,
Mm.
just because you don't have time and you're like working. So, and this is advice Bill Ross gave us at Berkeley. Bill Ross is this amazing arranger. He worked with Barbara Streisand. He works for John Williams. He worked on Harry Potter too, Andre Bocelli, and he was
Mm.
like once you're working with what you know, and you kind of stagnate there for a while.
Mm.
So because you cannot learn more, you learn a lot of other stuff on the job,
Right.
but the academics and the in-depth thing of studying scores and really absorbing all of that is something I wish had I had spent more time while
Mm.
I was at Berkeley. And I did spend a lot of time there, but there's so much to learn.
Yeah.
You never stop.
Right.
So basically, what I'm trying to say is, when you're young and you're starting, use the time that you have to become a better musician, better composer, better or understand music better, study scores, study the software, the technology, because then you're gonna get a job, and then it's like the show is on. Like you cannot like let me wait. I need to study more Prokofiev first. You know, like now you have to like do this piano piece and move on to the next thing, and
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
basically use the time that you have as a student to study.
Yeah.
And really, really, really go in as much as you can, because at some point you're gonna be a bit busy too. Unless you really carve out the time and we're really disciplined, it's really hard. And I try to sometimes, but it's really hard.
Because you're just so busy working.
Yes.
Well, that's fantastic. Fantastic advice. So, Juan Carlos Enriquez, thank you so much for coming and chatting with me. It has been so wonderful to talk to you, and I learned so much from you. So I appreciate you taking the time.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for this great talk. I also had a great time.